time to get really honest. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, failing as homeschool parents that I have experienced, I have contributed to, and I have seen is time management. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are in our 9th year of homeschooling, so I feel like I can speak on this a little bit. And we have an 8th grader and a 4th grader. So today we are going to talk about time management for homeschool moms. Are you ready? Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Now, some of my absolute most popular videos on this channel are all based around time management. Why do you think that is? Because it is so hard to be a homeschool parent, to be a working homeschool parent, to be a parent and get everything done. In any one of those individual fields, it is hard to manage time. It is hard to be disciplined, to stay on top of your time management. And it is, dare I say, near on impossible if you are mixing buckets, if we are parenting and homeschooling, if we are homeschooling and house cleaning, if we are homeschooling and house cleaning and working, if you are just trying to survive in this world, time management resources are key. And that is why today I want to talk with you a little bit about some of the things that are going to make the most sense for time management in your homeschool, okay? So I will have videos, I do have videos coming up on all kinds of resources for routines and hacks and all of the things, and following me along vlog style for all of the things that actually go on in my life, okay? But these are just kind of some broad blanket subjects that we can further discuss, or I have videos further discussing, okay? So why is this so important? Because we are all stretched thin. We all are. There's this expectation that we all have to do it all, and that's just not possible. Everything needs its time and its place. But the big key to that is that you have to give everything its time and its place. So let's talk about some things. Let's talk about something that is often very successful. It's successful for myself, which is block scheduling. So I do not stress about, what time something is happening. I don't stress about, the nitty gritty of like math is from 10 to 10:30. What I will do is a flow. But what I do is I will schedule that block of time. 9 to 12 is my school time with the kids. So I know if I want to get some working in, I'm going to give myself a chunk of time to work ahead of that and a chunk of time to work after that. But that time, that chunk of time is usually pretty sacred. So I try to avoid messing with our school chunk, which is huge. As far as a working person, I try to dedicate working chunks of my schedule, blocking them out so that I can dedicate similar groups of things in that block of time. This is not a new concept. You can find a ton of stuff out there about block scheduling, about time blocking, about being able to hunker down in similar tasks. This isn't new. It's a very common productivity strategy, and you should be applying it to your homeschool life, or even, to your parenting life, to your home life. It's real easy if I say chores happen 1 to 2 o'clock. And then all the chores happen 1 to 2 o'clock. Like if you can put things in a container, give them a start and an end, it makes everything so much easier. Something else that will help you find success as a homeschool mom, especially as a working mom, is to really, really lean into routine. And starting a routine can be really hard. Implementing a new routine can be really hard, but it's almost like the cry it out method. Like if you can just get past the tears, it'll be good. Okay. It'll be good once you get into that sweet spot of having the stretching pain of it behind you, the growing pains behind you. I promise those routines really pay off. For me, and even for my kids, we all have our morning routines, we all have our evening routines, and it really does, like I said, it puts a container on the die. So we know how we're starting, we know how we're ending, and then we put stuff in the middle. But for me, it's getting up, okay? For me, a morning routine is if I can get some amount of work done, some amount of self done, and then something to serve my family done, I feel like I have started the day on the best of notes. For my kids, it's getting up by a certain time and they know they've got to fit in getting ready, they've got to fit in getting breakfast, and they've got to fit in, being ready to start our school day at 9 o'clock. Okay. So those morning routines and those evening routines really do set you up for success, because that continuity, that repetition really helps you to find success, to be absolutely honest with you, to manage your time. If I'm getting up every day, I get into a little bit better routine. I'm not doing the same things every morning. I'm not always doing hair and makeup every morning, but I've got the time to do it before it bleeds into the next thing. And staying on track and keeping yourself accountable is a really, really big part of this. Like I said, if you can get through those growing pains, if you are one of those people who's questioning, how do people always get school done on time? The way that we get school done on time is because we started on time. To be absolutely honest with you, everyone knows the expectation that we start on time. If you start behind, everything else, it is a domino effect. It is going downhill. One of my biggest time management hacks, tips, whatever you want to call it, for homeschooling multiple children in multiple grade levels is independent learning. My children need me for language arts as far as the instruction goes. My kids need me for math as far as the instruction goes. They do not need me to hold their hand for every single math problem. There are a lot of things in our school day, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, so you can find this anywhere. There are a lot of things in our school day that my kids can pick up, open a book. Granted, they're reading now. So, you got littles. You're probably going to have, again, you're going to lay this foundation. You're going to get this routine. But they can open up their book. They can see what they are supposed to do for that book. And they will do it. And then I will look it over. Independent learning, increasingly independent learning, is one of the things that makes homeschooling multiple children possible. If you are doing every single little thing with every single little human, every single little day, that sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. That's a sure path to burnout, and that is a sure path to a lack of success. Because if you're working with child A and child B cannot independently work, and because they cannot independently work, they've left the table, they've left the room, they've started doing something loud, they've started doing whatever they want. Every time you have to restart is a restart. So if you are not setting yourself up for success with those independent learning blocks, I want you to consider it. And again, it is one of those things, you have to get past the growing pains of it. Our homeschool week, we homeschool 4 days a week. Mondays, real mom heavy. By Thursday, they almost don't need me because we ramp it down. Okay, so we start with the bulk of it. And the same thing goes with every single homeschool day. I work with one, the other one works independently. That person who works independently then gets a chance, and the first one works independently. This keeps our house quieter to allow for better focus. This keeps everybody in the same space. I can still make sure everybody is on task. If you are not focusing on that independent learning in any respect at all, you're really missing out, okay? And you're sabotaging yourself. I wholeheartedly believe that you are sabotaging yourself. I am a huge fan of theme days or loop scheduling. And what I mean by that is that we do not do science every day, okay? We do science like 2 days a week, okay? So we'll do one on Monday and we'll do another one when we have time later in the week, when we feel like there's time. We're not trying to do everything every day. We have a lot of subjects in our home that we do on Mom and Me Monday, which you guys know I love a theme. Mom and Me Monday means that mom is holding your hand every step of the way, every group project, every group lesson we hunker down and do on Mondays. We do it all together. We're combining as much as possible. We're group learning as much as possible because some things lend really, really well to group learning. History and science, art, my huge fans, group learning. By having theme days and by doing this kind of loop scheduling where we're not doing every single thing every single day, it allows us to maintain a routine but keep it flexible. It is unreasonable, I feel like, to sit down and do a 45-minute, hour-long science lesson every day. That is too much when it comes to the other things in life. And so I am willing to alternate science and history. It's a really good way to keep things fresh, which this kind of comes back to the way that we run our schedule as a whole is, like I said, I don't micromanage minute to minute. I put it in an order of importance, most important to least important. We keep a flow in our designated block of school time. And that allows us to do the next thing on my list, which is embrace flexibility and grace. If anything comes up that's more fun, first of all, I'm super happy to ditch homeschool because we had a birthday party on our second day of school. It is so important to have our training wheels, our tracks, our train tracks, our parameters, our edges built on our routines in our life so that we do know. So like starting school, the kids knew we're going to start school with a Mom and Me Monday. They knew we were going to start together, even coming off of that summer break. And that is because we have laid these tracks. We have built these foundations. We have put up these the bumpers on a bowling lane for people who aren't very good at bowling. And it keeps it in line. So are we still bouncing around some? Sure. But do we know where we're headed? We sure do, because we built these things in. We've laid and again, I've got 9 years of experience under my belt. So if you are new or newer than me, which is probably, I bet you like 95% of you, if you're struggling, these are the things that I would tell you. If you are my bestie and we sat down to have coffee and you're like, how are we doing this? I would tell you combine where possible. I would tell you to focus on some independent learning, and I would tell you to get your mornings right, okay? All of that is going to lead you down the path of success when it comes to time management in your homeschool, especially if you're trying to work. And let's not kid, whether you are getting a paycheck or you are serving your family, girl, you are a working homeschool mom, okay? And I don't care what the work is, okay? I don't care if your W-2 comes from somebody else or if you are just rocking it in your home. You are a working homeschool mom because there is no such thing as not a working mom. It is not a thing. So these are the things that I'm going to tell you to do. I'm going to tell you to keep the flexibility and the grace, because if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Okay? If I cannot entertain myself with a theme day, I don't want to do it. If it is hard and we are fussing and we are yelling and we're not getting started on time, we're going over, it's going to be the worst decision I've ever made. So in setting myself up for this success, we are finding success. Okay? So let me know, because there's a lot of tools that you can use for planning. There's a lot of tools that you can use for time management. I use a flow. I've got printables. I've made planners. We've got the kids planners. There's other great planners out there. A lot of planners will cater to homeschool parents. School Nest, huge fan. There's a lot of things out there that are available to you when it comes to homeschooling. Maybe it's Pomodoro. Maybe you use the Pomodoro technique where you work together for 30 minutes and then we've got 15 minutes independent learning, 15 minutes break. Maybe that's your success. Maybe that's your success is just being firm on your brakes. Maybe that's where you find your success. It is so important to do what works for you, okay? And there are going to be some things that you genuinely have to get through the worst bit of it to get to the glory, okay? And that is independent learning for sure. That is alarms and up in the morning. That's start time. If you do nothing else, if you solidify that start time, I promise you, your life will change when it comes to anything parenting, anything lifing, to be honest with you. That non-negotiable start time. So guys, I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that I have illuminated maybe something you didn't think of, or maybe it's something you knew, but like, let's not kid. How often do you hear something you already knew and then you have like your aha moment? For me, it's often. Maybe it's something that you just needed to hear again. Maybe it's something that you didn't realize was as important as it was, like independent learning, or like ditching your minute-to-minute school schedule, or solidifying that hard and fast start time, which I have to be honest with you, 9 o'clock in our home. But like if it's 9:05, who cares? If it's 8:45, who cares? But that expectation that 9 is the hard and fast keeps us really 10, 15 minutes either way. So you don't have to be perfect, but you got to be good, okay? I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative? If you did, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Like I said, we're all working moms, so I hope that you appreciated these homeschool scheduling hacks for working moms. I hope that you appreciated this discussion on time management. If you have anything else that you want to drop down below, let me know. Are we having kids make their lunches the night before, just like if they went to school? Are we having kids lay out their clothes? Are we, like, what is it? What is it? Do you have like a certain smell or a certain song you put on that gathers them to the table? What is it? What's your homeschool schedule, productivity, time management hack, tip, trick, whatever it is that sets you up for success? Or what's the unexpected thing you finally tried? You were like, turns out those people knew what they were talking about. I would love to hear that one too. All right, guys, I hope that you found any of it helpful.